Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for April 30th, 2025. We are at the end of another month. How the heck are you all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Kevin, how the hell have you been over the last week?
Good. Just, I'm so sorry.
Oh, perfect timing then.
I know. But no, it's been good. Something big's gonna happen. You'll see it. It's a same face, new place. So I'll just say that.
There you go. Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a change. Kevin will still be here and still doing videos in the live stream, but his background might be a little different. That's about it. But yeah, hope everyone else is doing well. School is, I'm almost done with my second class. Can you believe that?
That's crazy to think.
Yeah, only 8 more to go after this. But I got to finish up that paper. My final paper is due on Friday, so that's going to be fun.
Okay.
Might not be able to watch as many movies. Well, it depends. So it's due by Friday at 5, so I'll have plenty of time over the weekend and early next week. And then I don't have class for the 2 weeks after that. So
Gotcha.
I might do some more wheel spinning. Who knows? But maybe I'll do it this week. I don't know. Maybe I'll spin twice for me. We'll see. Alrighty. But hope everyone is doing well. Sir, what's going on? Hope you're having a good day, Miss Nadia.
I thought of a Slurpee when she said that, like a Slurpee.
I mean, I don't know. I'd be pretty thirsty about that. Fox Pixar Wait Sinners is still going. Warner Pictures really did. It's a very successful and a very good movie. So yeah, it's gonna keep going. So just watched Spaceballs for the first time on Saturday. Nice. Spaceballs is a good movie. Not great, but it's good.
It's a good parody.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and dive into the stories this week. And starting out pretty strong here, the Thunderbolts reviews are in, and the film is looking like a pretty massive success for the MCU. Currently on Metacritic, it is sitting at a 70, which is much higher than recent outings in the MCU. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, the site you should not really use as much, it is currently sitting at an 89%. So pretty strong, all things considered. General consensus is very good, and they are tracking for a pretty big opening weekend.
Good. Can you say that the MCU might be back?
I mean, we keep saying that every other movie, and then we're like, oh, they're struggling, and then, oh, they're back, and then, oh, they're struggling. But who knows?
You know what?
I think this is going to be a good year for them, though, all things considered. Captain America was financially successful. I don't know how much profit they made, but it was financially decently successful. This looks like it'll be critically successful, at least. And then, obviously, Fantastic Four, I have no reason to suspect that that's going to be bad in any way.
Yep.
So, I think we're looking good. So,
yeah,
let's keep it on topic.
Yeah, keep it on the MCU with Avengers Doomsday production is officially underway. So please be the lookout for spoilers who are going to be in this movie, because there probably will be a lot of them. Yeah,
including one of the a comic book writer who just spoiled a potential couple things that may happen, including variants and people who are in the cast that were not announced yet. So be careful for that. Yeah, they just they showed off that they're in production by posting a picture of an on-set chair for Victor Von Doom, meaning that he will be in the production from day one. So hopefully it means he's going to be a pretty mainstay character. Hopefully this is a Doom-centric film, kind of like Infinity War was a Thanos-centric film.
Yep.
Hopefully that's the route they go again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, next up here, though, as we said earlier, Sinners is continuing to be a hit, where its worldwide gross has just hit right around $170 million and has doubled its budget in 2 weeks.
Good.
Which is really good. Awesome stuff for the horror genre, but then also for original filmmaking. It's been really interesting reading the news stories around this, because there are some news outlets, who I will not name, that are reporting that this movie is not as successful as it actually is because of the back-end deal that happened with this movie. So this movie has set a precedent when they signed the deal for the movie. Ryan Coogler, the director, has, as part of his contract, said that after 25 years, he gets full rights and control over the film, meaning that they can't make a franchise out of it. which is really interesting. And apparently studios are not happy at that kind of deal existing, so they are not trying to tout this as a success because they don't want more directors doing that. But I could care less because I think it's a really good thing to do, and hopefully Ryan Coogler continues to do that.
And all movies don't need a sequel. Just period, end of story.
Which is funny because this movie, I want to see a sequel because the world is so cool. Like even if it's not the same characters, I would want to see another like movie set in that world. Like show me something with like the Wendigo and like in California in the 30s or something. I don't know. Like just like there's a lot of potential cool stuff in a cool time period that you could do with this.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be cool to see. Yeah. Next up, David Arquette's return to Scream 7 was supposed to be a surprise. Well, surprise, everybody knows he's going to be in it. So, I mean, they needed to do something because Scream 7 doesn't look like it's going to do too well, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that it might be in trouble, but I think that's because they're bringing in so many old cast members. Maybe they're trying to undo any of that, but honestly, we'll have to wait and see when the film actually comes out. But it's just kind of weird because Dewey died.
He did.
He flat out died. So I wonder if it's going to be a flashback or if it's going to be like, they're making a movie about it. I don't know.
It has to be. It has to be a flashback because you can't just bring somebody back to life. We saw him die in Scream 6. Just
unless they pull some weird story thing out of their ass. But.
Yep.
Next up, really cool stuff for fans of the 80s. A new Miami Vice movie is in the works from the director of Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski, which is awesome. He gave us The Gorge earlier this year, and then also is doing F1 later this year, which I'm very excited about F1.
That looks good, yep.
So
I'm excited about Miami Vice, actually.
I would love the hell out of this, man. Like, I love the 80s. It hopefully takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
Don't make it like modern day like they did with Colin Firth and Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. Like, put it in the 80s. Like, that would be so much cooler. The great music you could do with that and the visuals, just
the colors will pop and because that colorful pattern trends are like in right now too. I know it might not be in when this movie comes out, but still, it gives that nostalgia feel. And the music from that time is peak music.
But I'm saying you can get like a band like Gunship to make the soundtrack for it, and oh boy, it'll be good.
All right. Yep. Next up, Deadpool and Wolverine made $400 million in profit for Disney, and ticket sales are still up, which is weird. I don't understand.
What I'm really curious of is I want to see how much the budget was for this movie. Like the reported. Actually, hold on. That's probably not a good idea. I should go to Box Office Mojo. So, Deadpool and Wolverine total. I want to see. So it made $1.3 billion worldwide.
Okay. So
it only made $400 million in profit.
So you're not
Which
even.
Which means that the total cost for that movie, marketing and everything involved, was $900 million.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts. Or, I mean, like, obviously, that's not true, because that also includes, like, any rights fees or any, like, obviously, contract payments, because I'm sure Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds signed deals where they got extra money based on performance or toy sales or whatever. Like, there's a lot more to it, but it's crazy how it makes that much money and then only $400 million, which is, like, less than a quarter of that. It goes back.
And we call that a success still. When it's like, oh, okay, it's 400 million, but they put 900 million into it, but they got 1 billion out of it. It's like, those numbers don't seem right sometimes. And you're like, that doesn't add up for some reason.
But unfortunately, we don't work in the industry and we don't work for Disney. So I can't tell you where the rest of that money went. And obviously there's legality involved. You can't disclose contracts and things like that. So
it went into Avatar land.
There you go. Next up here, I'm really excited about this. Dev Patel's next director and star effort will be an upcoming film called The Peasant, which Dev Patel last year did Monkey Man, which was a pretty decent John Wick type movie, and I think that it succeeded from being set in India and taking a very culturally Indian tone. But I'm really excited about this movie because here is the actual plot line that has been given. Set in the 1300s, so in medieval times, it centers on a shepherd who embarks on a rage-fueled campaign against a group of mercenary knights who ransacked his community, revealing himself to be more than he seems. Yes, please. I want more action movies about knights.
That would be pretty cool because armor, old school medieval stuff, javelins through the heart. That would be
hell yeah. A John Wick style action movie like Monkey Man set in the medieval times sounds insane. And I want to know like how much they're gonna be able to go with it.
And how and has anybody done that before? I can't know off the top of my head.
Not a major studio, at least.
It's a new genre right there. Well, not a new genre, but like a new IP and stuff like that too. I'm all
here for it.
Next up, a new horror film trilogy based on The Rule of Three is coming from production studio Behind Smile. And very intriguing, actually, because I like the Rule of Three is kind of an eerie thing that happens. So I don't know why say it's a trilogy though. That's what I don't like, but we'll see.
Oh, obviously it's Rule of Three.
No.
So, but it is based on a book. Looks like a kind of a sci-fi thriller horror type thing, maybe post-apocalyptic. So, who knows? At least from what I'm seeing on just a Google search. So,
gotcha.
But I mean, hey, the production company Behind Smile, both those movies are actually pretty good for new horror IP that's come out in the last couple of years. I think Smile 2 was actually a huge surprise for me, and I know you really enjoyed Smile 2 last year. And they seem to know how to market their films too. So I have no question that this will be at least worthy of attention when it comes out.
I think we need to see that first trailer, just like with Smile and Smile 2, and then again, like you said, their promotions with it are, you don't see that with major studios, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next up, Brad Pitt will be starring in the upcoming film called The Riders, from Conclave's Edward Berger, who's just off his Oscar campaign for Conclave. This movie sounds really interesting. Brad Pitt will play a character who he and his wife go on like a moped trip of Europe and decide to settle down there. But as she goes back home to their home country to get their daughter, the flight comes back and it is only the daughter and the mother is missing, and causes the Brad Pitt character's life to spiral. So kind of interesting, a little bit more intimate in tone than something like Conclave or everything, All Quiet on the Western Front. So definitely pretty interested. And Edward Berger has proved to be a director who is newer to the international scene, but is definitely making a name for himself. So I am very looking forward to this.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Next up, some maybe good news, and I think it is. Theaters have resorted to lifetime bans for Minecraft movie behavior, and that is okay. That don't do stupid things at the movie theaters, please.
Yep, and this is on the heel that on the other end of news that starting this week, movie theaters will be doing basically like instead of sing-along showings for the movie, we'll be doing meme-along showings. So you can act crazy. With obviously within reason, they're going to have people in security in there, but like, you know, like there's one thing if you're just applauding and cheering, but like to actually throw food around and get into fights and things like that is just ridiculous. So like I get having fun, and I think that if they create an environment where it is like monitored, but you can also let loose a little bit, that could be successful and they could get people to buy tickets.
Well,
Sure.
the other thing is too, we had that with Infinity War and Endgame. No one was throwing popcorn everywhere, but you had the audience getting immersed into the movie and standing up and cheering and clapping and everything like that. And that's what a movie's supposed to do, not to, I don't know, I don't want to ruin somebody's day by having them pick up a full bucket of popcorn.
I just hope that they make it clear that those showings are that way, because then if you get like a family that goes in to see a movie, they're like, oh, we wanted to avoid the kids and go when it's like less popular or whatever. You don't want them to go into the wrong showing and walk out. kind of having
True,
a bad
true.
time. So,
Mhm.
alrighty, next up, pretty cool news here. Fresh off the success of Sinners, Michael B. Jordan's remake of the Thomas Crown Affair will be releasing in March of 2027. And honestly, if there's an actor who could do that today, I think that Michael B. Jordan could do a great job. This is a film about like a somewhat of a rich guy who does some heist type stuff and has a steamy romantic affair with a female someone who gets involved. I saw both of the original movies and I can't tell you what they're about because they're not like particularly great, but I could definitely see him doing a good job with it. I want to go ahead and actually pull this up real quick so I can give you a better idea of the plot. Young businessman Thomas Crown is bored and decides to plan a robbery and assigns a professional agent with the right information to the job. However, he's soon betrayed, yet cannot blow his cover because he's in love. So it's like a kind of a romantic thriller type thing.
Okay.
I mean, like Michael B. Jordan, good-looking actor, definitely fits that mold of like the attractive rich guy. And it depends on who they cast to be separate. Like, hopefully, it's someone who can get a really good chemistry with him going, and kind of bring some steaminess back to the theaters, which I think like we've been missing some steamy romance movies. Like we got Baby Girl last year, but that movie was just like cringy. It was like what middle-aged people think is taboo. It just wasn't very good. But hopefully this can bring it back. We lost Kevin?
Oh, nope, I'm good. Sorry. Hopefully we'll bring it back. But next up, we have Jurassic World Rebirth will be 2 hours and 14 minutes long, second longest in the franchise. And that's really not that long of a movie, to be honest.
No.
If it resets Jurassic Park, I'm okay with it too.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a reset. I think it's just going to be, from everything we've seen trailer-wise, this just looks like a return to form for what made the franchise good to so many people. It was like the franchise became bad because you took all of the isolation away. Like, it's not a location where you're trapped. Now it's just the open world. Like, I could be in New York City and be gobbled up by a pteranodon, which isn't scary anymore because I could just hide inside. But like, when you're on the island, it's so much different. And so I think that this is, I'm worth it. I think it's going to be worth it. I mean, I could be eating my words. It could be a really shitty movie when it comes out. Who knows? But
can't be worse than the last movie of the new.
As long as it's better than Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Hopefully, at least as entertaining as Jurassic World would be nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next up, some pretty cool news here. We are getting a split fiction movie based on the recent video game release from the same studio that did It Takes Two and Brothers. This will be coming from the director of Wicked, John M. Chu, and will star Sydney Sweeney in one of the two lead roles. And I think this is great. I think that Hayes does really good storytelling. So I'd love to see how they're able to pull it off as a film.
Yeah, interesting. I want to see, because It Takes Two is Nadia's and our probably favorite multiplayer game that we played in a while, just the two of us, which was really awesome. Haven't played Split Fiction yet, but I wonder how they're going to do it. That's the thing, because it is two people. You don't want to be bouncing back and forth between POVs or something like that. So I'm interested to see what they kind of do with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, next up. Sorry.
And last story.
Yeah, last story. Final Destination Bloodlines has first reactions calling it the best in the series yet. Is this audiences, though?
This is audience reactions to early showings.
Okay.
So, not official critic reviews, not like the film hasn't actually premiered yet. This is just early screenings. So, kind of how we saw with like when Thunderbolts first reactions were coming out and they were like pretty positive. It's like that. But this seems to be pretty high praise for this movie, all things considered.
I just think they can just get so much gore out of it now because everybody likes the practical effects instead of like the CGI stuff going around. So I think it could be a major hit, and maybe it will be the best in the franchise. And who knows, that would be a pleasant surprise too.
Yeah, and I think also that the idea that they're taking, where it has to do with like a family tree kind of a thing, is also much more interesting too. So
Yeah.
hopefully it ends up being a good time. I would love to see the movie when it comes out. So hopefully it'll come out soon. I think it's coming out in the summer. Alrighty, but that's it for the news stories. Got quite a few things here. We still haven't got another Lilo and Stitch trailer, but Japan and China got new posters for it. We probably won't get a new trailer until maybe the week before. We've already gotten the official trailer. We got a teaser and then an official trailer, so maybe we'll get a trailer too. But we're less than a month away now, so I would expect one maybe next week at the earliest.
Gotcha.
There's that. Didn't we already get a Miami Vice film? Yes, we did. We got a remake with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx back in like the 2000s, I want to say. So, it's probably like Jamie Kennedy's role from the third one, where it's a video of him explaining stuff, even though he died in part 2, or maybe it's a twin, which would be ridiculous for David Arquette. Yeah. Either that or a flashback, or
it has to be like there's no physical way that he is back.
Exactly. I don't buy it costing $900 million. I think it's less, and someone's pockets got lined. Sure,
maybe
for Deadpool and Wolverine. You mean? Will he be wearing a tuxedo in this one? Is he going to wear a tuxedo like what Brosnan? I'm guessing what you mean with Thomas Crown Affair? Probably at some point. So, Death Gods Come. Gynal Festination. So why does that feel so wrong to read out loud? Like Gynal Festination.
Festination.
Oh, that felt dirty to say. Yes, very, very hyped for this movie. The trailer was already fantastic, both of them. So, I mean, I'm already hyped for the movie. I enjoy the movies as bad as they are. I do enjoy them, and so I'm really looking forward to this.
Because they're different too. That's the other thing. They're just, the whole death plot line I think is interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those it's unavoidable. You can't beat it. It still will get you. Like it's just it's really interesting. But let's go ahead and go to the trailer park real quick. So Kevin, what stood out to you this week?
Obviously, Weapons just looks so weird, but I'm in love with it. Smashing Machine looks interesting. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I mean, is kind of like a get together of all the magicians and the new ones that we get introduced to. Hopefully, we get more time with the new magicians and not just the old ones as well. But it's cool to see that everybody's coming back. Fear Street. Oh, I didn't see that one. Is that Netflix?
Yep, that is the next Fear Street film.
Cool. I mean, Nadia and I like the Fear Street movies, so hopefully this one can stay on par with those. So
yeah. I haven't actually seen any of them. Maybe I'll check them out while I'm in between classes.
They're pretty good Netflix series, or not series, Netflix movies.
Okay. Yeah, for me, Weapon stands out. It looks like a Longlegs adjacent film, and I don't think the trailer looks nearly as dread-inducing as the Longlegs stuff was, but I do think, based off of the footage that was shown at CinemaCon, it will be a really scary movie. So who knows? But I'm very excited for it. It looks very different. And I love stuff that feels like it has a twinge of the realism to it, but with just something off. And I think that is really kind of special about it. I think the Smashing Machine looks really interesting, a chance for Dwayne Johnson to really flex those acting muscles, because he doesn't look like himself at all. And I will say, to me, I thought Heads of State looks really cheesy, but really fun. It's a movie where John Cena plays the president of the United States and Idris Elba plays the prime minister of the UK, and they have to action their way out of some stuff. And
interesting.
It at least looks like it might be entertaining. So I am excited to check it out at some point. It's probably gonna be bad, but who knows? Alrighty, so that is it. When is Fear Street Prom Queen coming out? I love that series. That's a great question. Let me look at that real quick as Kevin walks away. Fair Street Prom Queen. It is for 2025. It will come out on May 23rd, so it is coming out this month.
Okay, cool.
So May 23rd, 2025 is the release date for that. The Now You See Me one is where they finally put the phrase in the title. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they use that as the title for the first one? I think maybe because they wanted to keep it shorter, and it was just the first film. So I think that a lot of people were insinuating the "now you don't" kind of a thing. But I think that this is just a play on words because they kind of did hype it up in some of the marketing where they're like, all these fans are like, if they don't call it "Now You See Me, Now You Don't," I'm not seeing it or whatever, and they joked about that, and then they made that the title. So who knows?
Who knows?
And
But-
yes, Queen.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yes. No pun there because of Prom Queen. But
There.
next up is the box office figures, and Sinners coming in at number 1 with 45.7 million, still at the top of that billboard right there. And then we got Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the 20th anniversary re-release, correct?
It's the 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary with 25.5 million, which is cool. Awesome to get people into the theaters to see that. And The Accountant 2 with 24.5 million, the Minecraft movie with 22.1 million, and Until Dawn with 8 million. To be perfectly honest, I totally forgot Until Dawn was even in theaters.
I was so excited to go and see it, and then I completely forgot. It came out this weekend. I was so busy, I didn't get the chance. I didn't get the chance to go to the theaters at all this weekend. But hey, it's cool to see another horror movie in the top 5. Well, I mean, obviously Sinners is up there too. You know, it's like come on, Sinners is the best movie of the year so far, and I'm glad to see it in number 1. And it is a horror movie, so glad to see it up there. Episode 3 coming in at second was something I did not expect, but I know a lot of people really love the movie. I think it's good. I don't think it's like amazing by any means.
But they wanted to see it on the big screen.
Exactly. I remember seeing it in theaters as a kid, so I would, maybe I'll go and see it if I have the chance to. Alrighty. Let's see here. Another comment here. Star Wars Episode 3 is already released in 2005. Why is it being there 20 years later? No, because it's the 20th anniversary, and it's a movie that people really enjoy. Typically, when a movie hits a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, anytime something hits a 5-year anniversary, unless for some reason it has some sort of like number attached to it, they will always release an anniversary, especially with movies and franchises where there are huge fans. I would be surprised if we didn't get a 10-year anniversary re-release of Infinity War in 3 years. Like, these things just happen. We see re-releases all the time, and I think that it was successful when they did Episode 1 back in 2019. So I think they're just going to continue to do it because it makes them money and people enjoy those movies. And honestly, even if it is a movie that's already been out before, it gets more people into the theater, which is a good thing, and I am never going to complain about it.
Yeah,
because
I saw. I'm looking on Regal right now, the website. They have a Miss Monday Mystery Movie in its horror edition on the 19th of this month, which is cool.
might be Final Destination.
Oh, that would.
Sometimes it's an early movie.
That would be cool.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and get into the movies that are coming out this weekend. Up first was the biggest release, which is Thunderbolts. After finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their pasts. This is obviously made up of a lot of D-list characters in the MCU. A lot of people from the TV shows and movies that are not as well liked kind of coming back to have a chance, and this movie is getting very good reviews. So, very excited for this one. Up after that is a new movie with Nicolas Cage called The Surfer. A man returns to the idyllic beach of his childhood to surf with his son. When he is humiliated by a group of locals, the man is drawn into a conflict that keeps rising and pushes him to his breaking point. I have no idea what that means. But this looks like it is a psychological thriller.
And it looks like it's on Netflix too.
That is it?
Well, it says Netflix on one of them, so.
No, maybe it is coming to Netflix at some point, but it is coming out at least in theaters. Up after that, I didn't think this was actually going to happen, but we are getting Rust is releasing in some capacity. A boy left to fend for himself and his younger brother following their parents' deaths in 1880s Wyoming goes on the run with his long-estranged grandfather after he is sentenced to hang for the accidental killing of a local rancher. This is obviously the movie that has had so much go wrong behind the scenes, including the death of the cinematographer attached to the film, who was killed in the accidental gun firing. I mean, obviously, they are going to have to put this movie out to make some of the costs back. I would sincerely hope that a lot of this movie's kind of profit is going to go to the family of the DP in some capacity. All the reviews that are out right now seem to be from Germany, so it looks like it's just releasing very, very kind of limited. So, and lastly is Rosario, which is a brand new horror film. Rosario spends the night with her grandmother's body while she waits for the ambulance to arrive during a severe snowfall. Rosario is attacked by otherworldly entities that have taken control of her grandmother's body. I will say, based on reading this, it feels like a remake or another version of The Vigil, which is the movie that is of the Jewish faith, where there's a man who has to preside over a body overnight so that demons can't get in it. It feels very similar to that, but at least it comes from it looks like some sort of Latin American or South American, Central American kind of culture. So at least it's a little bit different. But it does have David Dastmalchian in it, who was just recently in Late Night with the Devil last year. So
yep.
All right, but those are the movies that are coming out this weekend. Rust will suffer. Yep, it will.
It will.
Because the DOP, 100%. I think that there's a lot of negative word of mouth around the movie, and I'm surprised that it's even being released. But again, it depends on how much was done when the DP was killed. But also, they have to make their money back. And I know they went back into production pretty quick after everything happened. So who knows?
They're trying to shove the movie out pretty much.
Yeah, they're just trying to get it out there so it's just done and out of the way. And I'm sure there's some legalities involved.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have animated shorts to be shown in theaters again. I'd go and see them 100%. I think Disney does do some before their films occasionally. They used to do it during every film. And Pixar used to have a short in front of every movie, but not so much anymore. I would love to see that return. I think really the only way I've been able to see animated shorts in theaters is right before the Oscars, when they do the showing of all the nominees, which is really the only time I really get to see them. Either that or I have to browse YouTube or the Internet Archive. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I would love to see these in theaters again.
That would be interesting.
And even other studios too. Like just show them. I'd rather see those instead of ads for 20 minutes before the movie's supposed to start. Alrighty. But that is going to be it for the written part. I feel like I always say that. Everything's written. We write down everything in the show. But that's it for like the news and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about the movies we watched this week. Now, Kevin has been a busy little bee.
Yes, I have.
And that means he has not watched anything outside of the Wheelspin. Whereas I have watched several movies outside the Wheelspin and nothing terrible. So that's at least somewhat.
Hey, I mean, one of them was 50%. That's still failing in some classes. So
well, yeah, but this isn't a class. This is this is different. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and start out with The Good German, which is a movie, the final movie that I had to watch for my World War II class that I'm currently in. And I was massively disappointed by this. I think it wastes a very talented cast, and it wastes the talents of its director. I will say the cast is very good here. George Clooney plays a military journalist, and he is good here. Cate Blanchett plays his ex-lover in Berlin. She's very good. Tobey Maguire plays this really edgy and dark character, like before emo Peter Parker came out, which was kind of funny. And they're all fine. And I think that the visual, because this movie's all in black and white, and it's very reminiscent of films in the film noir genre, like Casablanca or The Third Man or M or those kinds of things. And it's clearly inspired by those. Also, the score is fantastic for this movie. It really feels like a film noir, jazzy kind of like thriller, and it's really cool. But what the problem with this movie is that the script is lifeless. It really just does not do anything. It's convoluted. They keep adding twists into this mystery to make it more and more interesting, but it's not interesting. It thinks that it's interesting, but it's not, and that's one of the worst things in my opinion. When something thinks it's better than it actually is. But it is nice to see a World War II movie. Or it's set just after World War II, but it doesn't portray the U.S. GIs as the good guys all the time, which is really kind of refreshing to see. And something totally in that pre or post-Vietnam kind of mindset.
Okay.
But yeah, 50 out of 100. I wouldn't watch it. I don't know why we watch it in our class, but like I don't know. If they're looking for something about the arms race, I don't know why we're not watching Oppenheimer instead.
That would be a great World War II movie.
Yeah, because this whole module was on like the arms race that happened just after World War II, like when we were collecting German scientists and everything. Mm-hmm. But I think it'd be far more interesting to do Oppenheimer, 100%.
I agree with that.
But also, this class just is a module that they keep reusing, so like it makes sense.
Okay.
After that, I watched a documentary on Netflix called "The Twister: Caught in the Storm." This is following the giant tornado that happened in 2011 in Joplin, Missouri, and this uses firsthand footage of the actual tornadoes. And there is one part of this, because it follows a couple people who were directly involved in this event. Mm-hmm. And it does use firsthand footage and audio recordings mixed with their kind of stories. And it's really effective. You hear the desperation and the wind and like the moment when they like give up is like really kind of heartbreaking to hear. Also, one of the most terrifying things I could ever imagine happened during this event. This tornado ripped through an area of Missouri that had some Ozarks, which are like some swampy type areas. And in those swampy type areas, in like the water, there's a flesh-eating bacteria, fungus.
Oh my God.
It got sucked up into the tornado and dispersed throughout the area. So there were people who actually died, not because of the tornado, but because the flesh-eating, but like the fungus got everywhere. And one of the people that the documentary follows is a survivor. He actually got sucked up into the tornado and was like spinning around or whatever, right? But as he was doing that, the fungus was getting attached to him, so he's like missing parts of his chest, and like it's really scary. I don't like the Midwest anyway. I'm never gonna live there, but like that just cemented it to me. I was like, no.
And that's crossed off.
But what's really funny is there's like characters, like all these are real people that went through this event, but they're like characters. Right? Mm-hmm. There's like the closeted gay guy who's like, oh, I thought this was the rapture because I was growing up in a Christian community. And then there's like the geeky math girl who's also a metalhead and her metalhead boyfriend, and they're the ones you get the most time with because they had the footage. And then you get like the jock who wants to become the EMT and what he does, and that there's just characters, which is really funny. I will say that what I didn't like about this though is that there are too many instances of recreated footage. And it just doesn't do much. Like, I want to see more firsthand footage.
Okay.
So I definitely was missing that, but I do think this was a good one. Pretty emotional as well. So if you're looking for a documentary about a real event and you're feeling like a little bit of you want to get a little depressed, this one was a good one. I'm always down to cry, so I mean I'm there for it. Up after that, I watched one of my favorite movies of the 2010s, Sicario. When finally reviewed it. I've seen it and I own it, but I hadn't reviewed it yet. And this movie still packs a punch. This is an incredible film, which thoroughly engages you by asking the question, and especially after 9/11 and all the things where we were torturing people for information, after 9/11 and during the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and all that. But then also in this age of like the war on drugs, like at what point does evil justify evil? Like if someone does something that's incredibly evil to you or something incredibly violent, does that give you the authority and the ability to then recreate those acts to them? It's a really fascinating thing to examine, and it does this through the lens of Emily Blunt's character, who plays an FBI agent who's then kind of brought into this interagency coalition thing that's going on against the cartels, and she's the weakest link. Not because of Emily Blunt, she's great in the movie, but the way that they write her character just isn't that interesting, and the side characters and the entire idea are what take the precedence. And I think that she just kind of gets pushed to the side, and for someone who is a main character, that shouldn't happen. So it just kind of feels a little off. But it is, like, Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are fantastic in this movie. Benicio del Toro is scary in this movie, and on purpose. And I think that it's just an endlessly fascinating film that examines that question that I asked in a post-Guantanamo, post-9/11 America. Like, is it okay to keep doing that? How far is too far when your enemy doesn't have a line to cross?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a line? And so that's what's really interesting about it.
Very cool.
All right, and then after that, I watched Megamind. And I hated this movie as a kid. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. I think it's because I hate Megamind's stupid face, and I hate his stupid big head when I was a kid. But this movie is surprisingly good if you watch it now. I think it's written insanely well. And it actually, for those of you who don't know, it has a villain portrayed by Jonah Hill. And that is the best on-screen interpretation of incel culture that I've ever seen. And it is genuinely horrifying. Like, this is a man who is obsessed with a woman, and she doesn't have feelings for him. He's given powers, and then he thinks that that means that she has to go out with him. And then she doesn't. And it presents a horrifying situation when you give power to someone who has those kinds of ideas. It is really fascinating. Now, all of that is kind of undone because the voice acting is not incredible in this movie. I think that Will Ferrell does a really weird voice in this movie. And Tina Fey and Brad Pitt are just really wooden. Like, they just kind of feel like cardboard cutouty. Like, and my biggest problem, though, is the animation. I do think the animation, even for its time, looked ugly. And I don't think that it was necessarily well animated. There are some good visual scenes. Like, you know, when Megamind shows up in his own head and walks out and is like, presentation, which become a meme, right? That looks great. And there are moments that look really good, but the rest of the movie just kind of looks ugly and a little outdated. Again, even for, you know, what's it, 2010? Yeah, 2010 when it came out. It was a little ugly. So, but that's not enough to really take away from it. I do think this movie is very good. It subverts your expectations. It's genuinely interesting that it skewers the superhero genre before it was even that big. So, kind of fascinating. And lastly, if you're not sick of hearing me talk already, is 42 from 2013. This is a movie about Jackie Robinson. I have never seen this movie. I've just seen clips of it on YouTube for forever. It's just one of those movies that, like, people make endless shorts about because it's an inspiring movie. And I think this movie could have been just a formulaic Oscar bait movie, but it isn't. And I think that's because of Chadwick Boseman, who delivers an incredible performance as Jackie Robinson, full of emotion, and when he's on the field taking abuse, suppressed emotion, and shows that very well. I also think Harrison Ford is really good in this movie as Branch Rickey, who's the owner of the Dodgers at that time. And he kind of brings this, in a character that could have been doing things for the wrong reasons, he brings a warmth to it, which I was really enamored by. And also, I think that the directing is actually pretty good here. All the shots on the field during the games looks fantastic. Even the intimate moments feel really good. What I do have some issues with is it does feel formulaic. We know how this movie is going to end. It's based on history. Now, there are ways that you could get around that and some chances you could take in showing different parts of his life that maybe we didn't know about. A writer that did more research would probably bring light to situations that maybe we haven't seen before. But I think those concerns are negated somewhat by some incredible moments in this movie. Like the moment when Pee-wee, who's played by Lucas Black, just comes over and puts his arm around him because he's like, I got family in the stands and I want him to know I'm a good person. Yeah. Fantastic moment. And I think it's a really good movie, and I think it's also just genuinely worth watching now, where, you know, in this age of like resurging racism, and you know, because this is like what, the first black player in the major leagues, right? And we're in this area now where that kind of same racism and hatred is hidden behind the word woke, and so it kind of feels like it's just as applicable today as it was, you know, back in the 40s. And so I think it's important to watch now just as much as ever.
Yeah,
So,
and it's a good, it's the dialogue is really good in this movie too. I really liked, and this scene where Bozeman is in the hallway and he smashes the bat, like that was perfect. Didn't say a word, just lets out a scream, and then he gets back to work. And it's like,
and then like the way that Harrison Ford comes up to talk to him, and just like, there's something about the way that he like embraced him, like almost gave him a hug, that just felt like
but
massive.
He didn't give him a hug. He was just giving him. He's like, you got to go out there now, and you got to go do what.
It's still an embrace though, which is like, you know, in a time where like not a lot of white people would do that. So that was really cool to see. I mean, it rubbed me the right way.
Yeah,
and I just love the part I was like, I'm gonna need a new bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the movies that I watched. We'll probably have Kevin do both of his, but we have some comments
so you get
to
a break
here. Amen on the ads rant, 100%. Yeah,
100%.
I mean, I get why.
I get it too, but it's like, no, I don't like them.
Yeah. Oh God, Emo Parker. People back in 2007 will get that. Yep. Yeah, and The Good German was released a year earlier, and you see a much darker Tobey Maguire. It feels against his character. Maybe the film has to be at least 5 years old before it can be used for class. Probably. To come to think about it, like the newest movie we watched in that class, I think, is Inglourious Basterds. So it makes sense. But
that's a 2017 movie.
Like 2009.
Oh, really? Oh, geez, that long ago.
Yeah, but it's a good point. It might be that. Isn't Emily supposed to represent the viewer watching it unfold? Hence why she feels that she's pushed to the side. 100%. And I think that there are ways that could be done just a little bit better. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, which is why the movie still has a 95. But like, she could have been a little more front and center. There could have been more of an internal struggle with what she's seeing. And I think that while there is that in the movie, it could have been done a little bit better. But I do understand also that she is not like the primary focus of the entire movie. So yeah, I get both sides of it, which is why I didn't take that many points off for it, all things considered. But that movie does have the single best, like, it's one long scene, but it's the single best scene of tension and then release of that tension in any movie ever. And I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, Kevin, let's hear about your short.
Yeah, my short was Baby Buggy Bunny. And
you got it.
I can't. I just had two Caesars when I did that. But this one was an okay short. The story was okay. I mean, a bank robber that dresses up as a baby finds Bugs Bunny, and Bugs tries to keep the money, but the baby tries to kind of get his money back, and it doesn't go as well, or doesn't go as planned as he wants it to. Bugs is ruthless because he knows that this person now is a bank robber, but in our eyes he is still a baby, so he throws the baby in the air and makes him drop on his head and stuff like that. So I just got to watch a baby drop on its head, and it was okay. I mean, it's 70 out of 100. I've seen better, but I've also seen worse. Just story wasn't there for me.
All right.
I'll go again.
Let's get in your movie.
Yeah. Big. One of Tom Hanks's best roles, I feel like. I really enjoyed him as him being just a big old kid, because that's in this movie, that's what he looked like as well. The person portraying him as the littler kid that makes the wish looks really like Tom Hanks when he grows up, which is really cool. I love the comedy in this movie about kind of like, it's not really a fish out of water, but it's more like you don't know adulting is going to be this hard, and I kind of like that as well because you get to see the fun part of it, but then he gets stuck in this adulting time where he has to, I have to pay the bills, I have to do this, and you get to see that unfold. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm not just a kid anymore, I actually have to go do this, and time management and everything like that. I did like his friend as well. His friend did bring a little bit of comic relief to it, but again, I think this is Tom Hanks's best role that I have seen him in so far. I haven't seen some of his other works, but for me, this one is his best one, so I give it an 83 out of 100.
Alrighty. So before I get to my Tom Hanks movie, my short this week was Bunny Hugged, and I actually really enjoyed this short. This one features an antagonist for Bugs Bunny that actually feels like a good match for him because he is a physical threat. Like Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd are just bumbling idiots, right? But I forget the name of the villain in this. Crusher is because it's in like a boxing ring, and Crusher is a genuine threat. Like he is physically could just destroy Bugs, but then Bugs is smarter, which then leads to some really great gags and some physical humor and the typical Looney Tunes style gags that are just a lot of fun. It's a great short. Really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was like one of my favorites ever, but it's one that I had never seen before, which is rare because I feel like I've seen a lot of them over the course of my life, and I never remembered this one. So really enjoyed this one. And my Tom Hanks movie this week, because it's Tom Hanks week here on Real Watchers, and that is Forrest Gump from 1994. This is one of those movies that everyone always talks about. This movie, it's an iconic movie, and I will say that I have slowly but surely soured on this movie a little bit by little bit. I definitely think that it is overhyped. I don't think that it's necessarily one of the greatest films of all time, but it's not bad by any means. I think that, to me, what's really great about this movie is Tom Hanks. His performance is incredible in this movie. He is effortlessly likable and just has a warmth and a charisma that's hidden to his character that's just really infectious. And all the supporting cast are really good as well. Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, Sally Field, Nick Kelty Williamson, they're all fantastic. They all do their part. If there's anything that I'm not really a fan of with this movie, it's like, I get that he's present for a lot of these things in American history, but sometimes it feels like those things just take away from the plot and they're too comedic. Like, he's at the White House and he meets Nixon, and Nixon's like, oh no, I got the best hotel you need to stay at. And it just happens to be the Watergate Hotel the night of the Watergate thing. Yeah. Like that just kind of feels out of nowhere to me. Also when he's running from coast to coast, like that's not physically possible. Yeah. Without napping and eating. So, okay. But it is more of a fairy tale. This is more of a fable than it is like a down-to-earth realistic story. So I feel like I'm able to forgive those. I feel like I'm less forgiving of it as time goes on. But it's really interesting. I've seen a lot of people have some very negative takes about this movie now. And I was trying to understand why, so I was reading through some Letterboxd reviews, and I can kind of see where people are coming from. And it actually kind of shifted my perspective a little bit on the movie. And especially in the kind of political environment that we're in, it kind of feels a little odd nowadays. But I think it is a classic for a reason. I definitely think it's overhyped, but it is easy to see why people love this movie. When it's emotional and deep and meaningful, it's very good. But when it goes for the too comedic and when he meets JFK, he's like, I gotta pay. It's just like, okay, I appreciate his honesty in that moment, but it just kind of feels a little off. But it's still a good movie. 85 out of 100 is my score right now. Could go up, could go down, but you never know. Also, at the end when he's like, I may not be smart, but I know what love is. Let's see here. The film that saved Paramount. big.
Oh,
Well, there you
really?
I guess so. Same Paramount from Nielsen. Interesting. To be fair, once Bugs figures out who Babyface Finster really is, and after what he was put through, you can understand him throwing the gangster to the ceiling.
Oh yeah. I can understand. I just liked how he just didn't care after he found out who he was. It was really funny.
Bunny Hug was wrestling. Yeah, okay, my bad. Yeah, I saw the ring and I assumed it was boxing, but yeah, it is wrestling. Yeah, my bad. Alrighty. Well, that is it for excuse me, for the wheel spins, but it's in fact time
for the wheel spins
to spin the wheel. So let me go ahead and get it up here.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone has a movie that they would like to add to the list, go ahead and take one movie per person, please. Let's excuse me. Let's limit it, and we'll get some of those on here. We both got Tom Hanks movies this week, so I'm kind of hoping for something that doesn't have Tom Hanks for me. But
Jason Statham movies, baby. Let's get it going.
Oh man, he wants Jason Statham.
No, two Jason Statham movies.
I don't know. Kindergarten Cop from Nadia.
I think that might be on there.
Let's see here. It is not.
Oh, that's a good one. It is not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Okay, we got some shorts from Joey. So let me go ahead and get this here.
I have a headache. Yes, I have a headache. I think it's a tumor. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. The Daffy Duck. Hair Scare The Art of Self-Defense. Shorts are the only thing that we will take multiple of. So, a ham and a roll sounds like a good sandwich to me. The Leghorn Blows at Midnight is the name of my sex tape. How to hook up your home theater. That's a late one. 2007.
That's like Best Buy.
That's actually what we watched to train at Best Buy when I worked there in home theater. Alrighty. Yes, the movie that helps Arnold's acting range. It's not a tumor. Alrighty. Any other recommendations? We'll go ahead and we'll give another 30 seconds. We'll spin the wheel, and then we will be good for the night. Because we got to record Movie Club after this. Yep. Shocker. That's when we record Movie Club. And then... yeah. But we'll go ahead and we'll wait and see here. 30 seconds is about to be up. And there it is. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and we'll spin the wheel. Kevin, let's get you a short film.
First try, baby.
Let's
First
do it.
try short.
First try, let's do it. Man, I really want that stalker one. If you get it, I'll be sad. Oh, you were right on it.
Is it really stalker?
Something with a D. Donald's cream voice. I think that's just a porno. No, I'm just kidding. Alrighty. So Kevin will be watching Donald's cream voice, which is a euphemism for something so foul we can't even talk about it on the stream. I'm just kidding. We'll go ahead and shuffle it up, and we will get my shorts. Come on, give me the stalker one. I want the stalker one. Nope, it's something with duck. Oh, darn. Duck, rabbit, duck. That's going to be my short.
We would have gotten the Suburban film.
Suburban? You mean Serbian?
Whatever. Serbia film.
I've been waiting to watch that movie, so I don't mind about the craziness of it. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get Kevin's movie. And Kevin's movie is... Ooh, Top Secret. I believe...
Does it have to have that exclamation point, too?
Yes. I believe this is the Val Kilmer movie.
It is. What the heck is this?
Yes, this is the one that's been kind of hitting the rounds since Val Kilmer passed away. It is a kind of Naked Gun-like movie that's making fun of like spy stuff. So there you go.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard good things, so really excited you got that one.
Nice. That's cool.
Finally, the only good Zucker Abrams Zucker film, I'm guessing. Alrighty, let's go ahead and shuffle it up for mine. What am I gonna get? Well, if it lands on the a Serbian film again, that'd be really interesting.
That would be funny.
And Trading Places from 1983. Let's see here. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That will be mine to watch this week. And you know what, Kevin?
You gonna do another one?
Well, my paper's due in 2 days. I'm not going to have anything to do. I'm going to spin it again. I'm feeling lucky. Jack Frost, 1997. Which one is this? Is this the horror movie, or is this...
Let's see.
It is.
Yes.
It's not the one. Oh, God.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun with this.
I was like, is this gonna be the horror one, or is it gonna be the one with Michael Keaton, which is also technically a horror movie, even though it's a family comedy. It's definitely a horror movie. No, that's all right. I will be watching Jack Frost, 1997. I think that's a Nadia pick.
Yes, it is.
So I'll be watching two very different movies this week, Trading Places and Jack Frost. And as well as the short film Duck, Rabbit, Duck.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's the horror one. I mean, I don't know. I thought it may have also been the Michael Keaton one, but it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Snowman. Yeah. I can't wait to see what I think.
You're going to love it. Are you kidding me?
You say that. Yeah, so I'll be watching the short Duck, Rabbit, Duck, as well as two films this week, Trading Places from 1983 and Jack Frost from 1997, the horror one. And Kevin will be watching Donald's Cream Voice and Top Secret, which I'm jealous. It's Top Secret. I hope that movie's good.
Okay.
But anyhow, that is going to be it for this week. We've gone a little over our hour, so Kevin and I got to go and record that movie club for next week, which that movie club next, Donald's Dream Voice, not Cream Voice. Okay, that would make sense. That is a misstep on my part. Thank you for yelling at me.
I'm glad we caught this before the stream ended, too.
Can you imagine, you're like, this short doesn't exist?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I think I just inputted the name of an adult video I watched on accident. No, yeah. So we have our movie club episode that's going to come out on Friday. This week we're going to be covering the sports film Warrior. So make sure you're subscribed. Know when that goes live. Obviously, this live stream also goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Should still be on track given Kevin's upcoming situation. If we have to change times or anything, we will let you know, but we should still be able to do it at the same time and have no issue. But that is going to be it. And of course, as I talked about last week, we are on Instagram. If you want to go ahead and follow us anytime either Kevin or I watches a movie and reviews it, they'll get posted there with a nice little Photoshopped image that I'm proud of.
Yes.
And also you can find us on Facebook as well, where we do the same thing. So that is going to be it. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching tonight. It's been a blast tonight. Tonight was really fun. So we are going to see you next week, same time, same place. And until that time, make sure you keep your eyes on the screen. Have a good night, everyone.